Hey y'all, it's Ashley
and Shantavia.
and this is Obedience Podcast.
So today we are joined by three ladies on the podcast today so we can have a
roundtable discussion.
Yeah, a roundtable discussion. So we have Bree Drinker, Terry Henderson, and Demetria Coleman. And y'all know her already because y'all finished our friendship series.
Did you? If not, you need to go ahead and back and start over. So, just saying.
So Ashley's going to explain to you exactly what we are doing today, and then we'll get into the whole round table topic discussion.
So we're just doing a roundtable discussion, as Shantavia just said, and we thought it would be interesting to ask some questions, some random questions, and just to get other people's perspective on different topics, and just to have other people to join on our show. So we'd like to thank y'all so much for coming and taking the time out y'all day to come and chit chat with us.
So no one be intimidated. This is just a casual conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's some hard-hitting topics, though. So let's get into the first question. Do you believe in true love?
I guess I'll go first. Do you want me to explain or do you just want me to say yes or no?
You can explain.
Okay. I believe in true love. You just need to know what true love is for you. Like, you can't just say I'm in love and then you don't know what love is for you. So, if love languages do exist, so make sure that you incorporate all of that into your true love. So yes, I feel like it exists.
I believe love exists, but I think it doesn't necessarily exist the way that people think about it. I don't believe in that mushy gushy, over the moon, those butterflies. I mean, that's attraction. I kind of believe, like the old people say, love is what love does. Love is a verb. So I think I read something somewhere that says that love, when you love someone, you put them before you. Their needs come before your needs. And that, to me, that's true love. But I don't think when we talk about true love, that's what most people are talking about. I think they're thinking about that feeling, and all of that's good, but that's not what's going to make anything last. So, yeah.
I think that true love exists, but I think you have to work at true love. I think there are multiple people that you come across in your life that you could have a relationship with and you could build a life with, but you have to be in the same place at the same time. And I think we have options, but in order for that to be true love, as we say, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. And It doesn't mean it's not going to be work. Because all relationships are work. The only way that people stay married and together is that they're both willing to put the work in at the same time.
I agree.
Yeah.
You see, when I was thinking about this question, I thought about, how people, they'll get married or they'll have different relationships, but then people will be like, I knew what true love was when I had a child. Mm-hmm. So it's like, does true love actually exist between two spouses if people like only experience true love when they have a child? Because I've heard more than one person say that. What about y'all? Have y'all ever heard somebody say that?
Mm-hmm. I have.
Yeah. But I feel like love is not just one. How I'm going to explain it. It's not just in one area. Like, you can have true love in different aspects. You can truly love your friend. You can truly love your kids. You can truly love your spouse. You can truly love your dog. It's different levels of love to me. Yeah. It's not just one set feeling or emotion or whatever.
Yeah, I think as like a society, we put too much pressure on romantic love when there's so many different kinds of love that could be a true love. Like, your best friend could be a true love because that's someone who truly gets you and knows everything about you and is there for you and puts in the work and you put in the work with them. And that's not necessarily a romantic relationship because, I mean, you can marry your best friend, right? Everybody's like, I married my best friend. Okay, well, that's great. But you also have best friends that you're not going to marry, that you're not going to feel any romantic inclinations to. And that's a form of true love, to me. So
And then talking about the love of a child, since I do have a child, I think Demetria alluded to it. There's different kinds of love. That's a whole different type of love than a love for a spouse. So I think people are more unconditional with your children. You know, I have a 27-year-old son. I love him down to the ground. I'll fight you. I'll cut you over him. He gets on my last nerve, like for real. But you know, when you know boyfriends, girlfriends, spouses start getting on your nerves, you kind of want to get rid of them. You can't get rid of your children, and you don't want to get rid of your children. But it's a different kind of love. So I think you can love just as hard, just as deeply in a relationship, but it's different. It's just a different kind of love.
Maybe children are really true loves because you never really want to get rid of them, you know, if you have sense. I've been watching too many murder mysteries. I'm sorry.
Come back to earth, baby. Come
I can't wait till you have children so you can see that whole you never want to get rid of them come to fruition.
I mean, I believe it because I've heard so many people say it, but it makes me curious. Like, that's why I put the second question down, because I was like, well, in life, will you be satisfied with just a child if that child brings so much true love to you? Do you even need to experience the love of a companion?
You know, your relationship with your spouse is your second relationship after your relationship with God. So there's God, your spouse, and then you're loving that person more than you love your children. Your children are designed to leave you. I mean, of course, they're still going to love you. So your spouse is designed to be with you till the end. So I would think that that spouse love should really be deeper. And I know that's a hard concept in our society to deal with because most people would say my children come before my spouse. But I don't think that's how it's supposed to be. I don't think that's how it's supposed to go. It's just they're two different kinds of love.
And then like companionship, your child, I don't have any kids yet, so I don't really know, but in my opinion, you can have a child and you can love them unconditionally. They're there for you. Like you said, they will eventually leave you. But everybody, like not fiend, but everybody wants that companionship that your child can't necessarily give you. Like, yes, they're going to be there for you, but they can't give you the companionship that a spouse will give you. It's like she said, it's two totally different loves, and you can't. I don't know. I feel like people can't really live without. Well, they can live without companionship, but they still yearn for it. So I feel like you need that companionship.
yeah, your child's never gonna be, and not that they're never gonna be your equal, but there's a long period of time where your child is not on the same level as you. And then when your child reaches adulthood, then you guys can have a much different relationship because like me and my mother have we've always had a close relationship, but our relationship as an adult, woman to an adult woman is totally different than what I needed as a child. Mm-hmm. But I didn't get to that level of friend until I was like 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. And mom might disagree with that and put that a little more at like 23, 24. But I didn't get to like an adult friendship level with her until I was older. And it's just a different relationship. You have to protect your child for so long and you can't rely on them to be, everything. They just can't do it.
Right. And then since you all don't have children but you are someone's child, so think about your parents. You love your parents and you would do anything for your parents, but would you want that to be your main relationship in life and never have a husband or a boyfriend or anything? Exactly. So it's the same thing. So that that's not what that relationship is designed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, your child can't do some of the things that your spouse can do for you.
Right.
It's different. Like it's totally different.
It's a different type of affection.
It's different.
Different type of
very different love.
Yes, it's very different.
That still leads me to wonder, like, why do people make that statement? I guess I just have to experience it to understand.
Yeah. Mom and my grandmother have always said, because I've always been afraid that like I won't be maternal, which is it's a weird thing from somebody who's currently like canning stuff and being Martha Stewart. But I've always been afraid I won't be maternal. And Mom and Dana have always said that the genes kick in. She's like, it kicks in as soon as that child is born and you see them and you hold them in your arms. A switch flips, and you're like, okay, this is how, this is somebody that I love and I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to protect them. But we'll see.
I've heard that switch will flip too. And I told the people, I said, well, if my switch doesn't flip, I'm giving the child to you.
Yes.
Because you said it was going to flip. So that's not on me.
If it doesn't click in.
From Shay's perspective, I get what you're saying, because like I was just like, oh no, what am I, switch never turns on, I become a mother. But also, like, I know what you mean by that statement. Like, you'll see like on posts and stuff, and they'll be like, oh, I never knew what true love was until, that person had the child. And I was just like,
but y'all got married.
Do you not have, what was the love for your companion? But I understand now, like, it's a different type of love. And I thank you guys so much for bringing it out, because it is a different type of love. And it's only natural for someone to, like, desire, like, a companionship, because, a child, like y'all said, a child can't, meet all of my needs,
Mm-hmm.
So it's only natural to desire companionship as well.
Well, what y'all said about the switch, this is just something that I feel, because I work with foster children, that it doesn't necessarily take your own child to make that switch flip, because like we have foster parents who will take these kids in and they will just like become so attached to them, and they adopt them. And like, I know one lady adopted like 6 kids, and all, like, she adores all of them like they're her own. So I just think that switch just happens differently for different people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then, some people unfortunately can't have kids, so you can't say that switch would happen when they have kids. So it just happens differently. Like my switch, I think, went off when I had nieces, and because like I feel like they're my kids until I get my own, so I'm very protective of them. I mean, my switch may not be as strong as an actual mother's, but I feel like my switch is there. So
Come on, switch.
I think that y'all answered the second question already. Is it worth it to get married, or would children create happiness for you? I think everyone agrees that you need both. Or you would want both, I should say. Because some people want to be single forever.
I say, can I bring up a different point to that though?
Yeah.
Some people don't want to get married. I don't know why. I don't feel that way, but a lot of people don't want to get married. And I don't know if it's because of today's culture or what with the dating scene, but I've heard a lot of women and men say they don't want to get married, they don't want kids. So I don't know if it's because of how we're growing up now, like what's going on in the world. I'm not sure. But I just always wondered the worth that some people put on it and the worth that some people don't put on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people think that marriage and kids are just life, but then other people are like, well, I don't need any of that. I'm just gonna live my life and be happy. And some people can be happy without either or, but it's just, I don't know. I just wanted to bring that point up because I just really want to see how y'all feel about it, because I don't understand it, because I want both, but maybe that y'all can tell me maybe what y'all think.
I think it's a relying on someone else thing with marriage. It's a big commitment. You have to, because like, obviously if I find somebody and they want to get married to me and I also want to get married to them, yes, that will happen. But if it doesn't happen, I'm also not, at this point in my life, it's not going to be, devastating, right? Would I love that to happen? Yes, it would be awesome. But marriage was never something that as a kid, like, I dreamed of. Like, all of my cousins dreamed of getting married and they had these elaborate weddings planned. And I just remember being little and being like, okay, well, if it happens, it happens. Like, this is where we're at. But I think it's a sense of commitment and a fear, not really a fear of that commitment, but a hesitation in entering into something that big with someone. Because when you get married, you are supposed to be evenly yoked to your spouse. That is your person. You are supposed to have a lifelong marriage to this person. You are with them for every day for the rest of your lives. And that's a big deal. And you want to make sure you find somebody who you are evenly yoked with. And I think a lot of people rush into marriages. And then I think a lot of people, don't want to do that because they're afraid of the commitment level. But I mean, I think it's up to, it's everyone, it's, for me, that's the reason why not getting married, like why you wouldn't want to get married is just that commitment level and sharing that much of yourself with another person. Because if you're going to be in a marriage and it work, you have to be a level of vulnerable that is scary.
Absolutely.
I think too, it could be that a lot of younger people are seeing a lot of failed marriages. And so a lot of people are like, is it even worth it to get married if I just may get divorced anyway?
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. I think that's why a lot of people don't want to get married. I think that in our society, we see so many bad marriages. We see so many marriages that don't look like anything that we want to be a part of. So I think when I saw the question, where is it worth it to get married? First thing I started thinking about, like, what is marriage? And I thought about some of the marriages that I know that if I were to get married, that I would want to emulate, that I've seen people who really have good marriages. And, I kind of cheated. I called a couple of them and said, hey, what are some of the benefits to being married? And they were some of the things that I thought about, some of the things that I pray about. But, like that having that safe place, that person that's your best friend, that you can be absolutely yourself with, that you can talk to about anything, that, even if it's jacked up and that's what I want to be right now, they understand me, they know me, they can be that, that companionship, being able to build something with someone, like I've always been fiercely independent my whole life, but it would be wonderful to have someone else that has common goals, common dreams, and we're working on something together and things like that. There are benefits to being married. I think it comes down to being married to the right person, being married, having the right ideas about marriage. Bree brought this up with the last question. It's work. I think sometimes we have this idealistic thing about marriage, and then it doesn't work out and it goes sour. So people are like, well, I don't want any part of that. So I think a big challenge is changing what people think about marriage. But I think it would absolutely be beneficial. I think about, I'm old as dirt. Y'all aren't. I don't want to be 70 years old with no one to talk to, no one to, and then you see people who've been married. Every once in a while, you see someone that's celebrating a 70th anniversary. That's got to be amazing to have shared an entire lifetime with someone. Raised children, you see grandchildren, great-grandchildren. You've gone through decades together. You've seen all this together. So I think it is absolutely worth it to be married. And I don't think for me having a child, because you talked about having a child be enough. I don't think it is. And then I was a single parent. I would never choose to be a single parent. I would never, and that's just my personal belief because, I have lots of friends that came from 2-parent households. I have lots of friends that came from single-parent households. I was a single parent. I have friends who are single parents. Even under the best of circumstances, I think if you can, it's better for kids to have 2 parents. So even though that might fulfill you got to think about your child as well. And then, like we talked about in the last question, it's only so much your child can do for you. So, it's a different type of relationship. So I think marriage is worth it, but I think it's such a serious thing. It's such a serious decision that you want to do it the right way. You want to have what really is marriage and making sure you're really with the right person and willing to someone you can build with, someone you can grow with, someone you can trust. Like Bree said, someone you can be vulnerable with. So,
real quick counterpoint to you saying you're old as dirt, Terry. My great-grandmother got married at the age of 86.
wow. There's hope.
Her husband was 89 years old, and they were married for 5 years before he passed.
Oh,
Okay, that's sweet.
I did want to piggyback off Demetria though. I know, like you asked, like why do people, not want to get married or have kids, either or. I can see it from both sides because I went through them both. Because I think because I see marriage. My parents have been married for 30 years, and no, 29, something like that. And I also see like the work that has to go in with putting in kids. And I think like sometimes a lot of that can be stressful. And like Bree said, it's work, but the benefits, like Terry said, you have that companionship and, people, you have that person that you can, just trust and to, what's the word I'm looking for? You just have that partnership, I guess.
Yeah.
But I did have a follow-up question. Do you think that everyone is meant to be married?
I don't think so.
Or marriage material, I guess?
Well, I don't know the marriage material, but I don't think everybody's meant to be married because, I don't know, in my mind I keep thinking of priests. Like, priests aren't married, but they're married to, like, I don't know how to say it. Like, they're married to the church and stuff. So I feel like marriage isn't for everybody. I was just asking that question because, you know, a lot of people, I've been hearing a lot of people that say they don't want to be married, they don't want kids. So I don't think everybody wants to be married. It's just not for everyone.
Jesus got married, so.
I mean, I don't know why it's not for everybody, but that's their.
Some people thrive in life without ever getting married, though. Yeah. They don't need that companionship. Other things bring them more purpose in life. I guess you just have to be that special kind of person. Yeah. Because like Bree said, like she never craved to be married. Some people never crave to have a companionship type relationship like that. Like their friends, their family is enough for them. I'm not that person, but it's people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, growing up, I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to have kids either. We see how that worked out. But but I would ask why, because I don't think everybody was meant to be married. But of all the people walking around saying they don't want to be married, want to have kids, I think it goes back to what Demetrius says, though. I think marriage has a bad rap these days. Having kids is a big thing. So is it really that they don't want to be married, or is it they see marriage as this big old mess that we've made of it and they don't want any part of that? You know, so.
Yeah.
And another thing too, I just thought about this, and like people crave being married, but a lot of people don't crave being married. They crave the wedding part.
Right.
They crave, they want the big wedding, but they're not putting the work into the actual marriage part. So they're like, I want to get married one day. I want this big dress, but what kind of partner do you be married to? Like, what kind of person do you want? Not just the big wedding dress, the big whatever you want at your wedding, big cake. Like, people work for the wedding, they plan the wedding, but why aren't you planning and working for your marriage?
Right.
So that's another thing that I just thought about.
That's a good point, because somebody can list out what they want at their wedding real quick, and you'd be like, well, how you want your husband to be? Well, I want him to have a fade and wear a suit. No.
Right.
How do you want him to be? Does he have a good sense of humor? Is he the kind of person that like will go get your kids out of school because they're sick? You know, is he the kind of person that's going to remember your favorite snack when you go to the movie theaters? You know, it's the small things that make relationships. Like with my grandparents, my grandfather expresses his love language through gifts. Mm-hmm. And so he will bring, back when he was working, he would bring my grandmother things that he found or he bought or he just thought she would like. And he'd be like, Marianne, I bought you a plant. She loves it. Anybody else would be very much like, why did you bring me a plant that you dug up off the side of the road? And no, my grandmother's like, oh my God. And she knows exactly what it is. And they go plant it and stuff like that. And now he expresses that through getting me to buy things off of Amazon. Get shipped to the house in 2 days. And he's like, your grandmother needs this juice steamer. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I will find it and we will get it shipped to the house. And so now she has this very lovely juice steamer. And she made a bunch of jellies with it. But it's the work and it's the little things. And I think that's what I kind of carry with me from their relationship and other relationships I've seen. That's what I would like in a relationship, is someone who remembers the little things. You know, that's what people should focus on instead of the day, because the day goes by so fast. It's,
It's literally a couple hours.
Yeah.
Where you're impressing other people. You're not even impressing yourself. You're impressing other people.
And like growing up, my mom and my grandmother did a catering business. And so they did weddings. And so I've seen so many weddings and seen the back end of it. And at the end of the day, the wedding's not about the bride and the groom. The wedding is about the guest. and the bride and the groom leave the venue tired, hungry, and they, and they just kind of in debt, and they just kind of look sad as they leave the venue because they're leaving this big party that they've left for everybody else, and now they have to go out and be together, and it's just
and they paid for it.
And they paid for it, yeah. And like they're going to be the ones dealing with the after effects of this day when everybody else gets to go home and say, oh, they were so beautiful, and then they're done with it and they don't have to deal with anything else of it again. So
they forget it literally a week later.
Yeah.
So it's just
I kind of like the idea. I've seen a couple people do this year. Well, where they'll go ahead and get married at the courthouse, and then they'll have their wedding on their first year anniversary.
Yeah. I had a cousin did that, and like they had this beautiful party and they really enjoyed it, and they'd already been married like 2 years, but they got to have the wedding that they wanted, and they were already established. So
right.
I kind of feel like in that situation, the wedding is really not for everybody else, because you already had like that intimate moment by yourself at the courthouse and everybody didn't know you were married. And now it's like, okay, y'all can celebrate us being together for a year.
Yeah.
So I do like that idea. So we're talking about weddings and being married. So I wanted to know, like, in you guys' opinion, what would be the benefits of marriage for you personally? Not like the tax benefits, stuff like that, but just like
dual income.
I'm old. If he dies, I get Social Security.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, the benefit.
So like we are supposed to get married, but like if we take that concept away, and there was just this thing called marriage, like what would make you actually marry somebody? Like what would be the benefits of it to you in life? I know one thing that I was thinking of is I know Terry, you mentioned it, just making this thing with somebody, like an entire legacy with someone, and being able to look back and be like, okay, we built this whole thing together. And another thing is, I think you said it, Terry, like to be able to build a routine with somebody, even though it's such a simple routine, like, you know, on Fridays, you fill my car up or we cook dinner, like it will always leave you something to look forward to with somebody that you can depend on, especially like you said, Terry, like somebody that's always in your corner, no matter what.
I think that's definitely one of the benefits. Like I said, people say that the person you marry should be your best friend. I mean, just that person that's always got your back and you've got their back. I think that's a huge benefit. And you said away from biblically, but when I think about purpose and, you know, the more I mature in life, I think more about the purpose of my life. So I kind of think that I have a purpose. I think if I get married, my husband has a purpose. But if we come together in God, I think there's a purpose that could only come forth if we're together. So there's that. And then, like I said, building something together, growing something together, you know, on Friday nights, just knowing there's someone to lounge on the couch with and Netflix and chill. And I'm single, and I've been single for a while, and I'm an empty nester, and I'm an only child. I love being by myself. I'm an introvert. I love alone time. I love being by myself. So it's not like I need this companionship, but I do think that my life would be enhanced by having that person in my life. It's not that I'm unfulfilled, because I do believe that I have to be whole on my own, single by myself, and that he needs to be whole. So you're not looking for someone to fill a void. I think when you do that, that's where you mess up. But I think it's like with anything, like if you're an entrepreneur, if you're at work and you do something by yourself, there's only so much you can do by yourself. But when you join forces with someone else who's working with you towards the same goal, you just exponentially expanded what you can do. And I think marriage does that too. So it's always better when, to me, you can always do more when it's a team effort or when there's more than one person involved, especially like-minded people with the same goal, the same purpose.
Yeah. I think I have to agree with you. Like my purpose, well, for me, marriage would be that I have someone to build with, like to like leave a legacy with our children, you know, just build something that's bigger than us. So like just build something that's bigger than us that we can be remembered for, or our family be remembered for, just somebody that I don't want to say depend on, but someone that will help me grow as I help them grow. Like we'll grow together. And I think Pastor Mike Todd said it, and he was like, you don't want, trying to see, I don't remember exactly how he said it, but I know you're not looking for a person to, like a half a person. You want somebody that's going to be whole, and you be whole, and y'all be whole together. Because he was like, if you get but this week you get a hot mess and another hot mess, you got a big old hot mess. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I thought about that, and I was like, so you want somebody that's whole, and you want to be whole yourself, so y'all can like make this big thing to just be some awesome people or whatnot. But I think that's what it is for me. That's the benefit for me, like just having somebody that I know will be there, somebody that I know will love me, somebody I know who will just, like you said, I know that I can go in the room and get on their nerves and throw a pillow at their head, and they still will love me 10 minutes later. So, yeah. Yeah.
And I think we talked about some of the heavy stuff, but you just want to have someone you can have fun with, too. Someone you can giggle with, laugh with, be silly with. And when you're talking about 10 years later, you've had all these moments that were great, or even if there was something silly, me and him were canning fruit and I cut my finger off the Vegematic. Who knows? But just someone you can just enjoy, because I think life should be better with that person. So not just all the serious. You got the serious, the purpose, the building, all that. But I mean, just someone to just kick it with, enjoy, your boy, your girl. I think and that's that same person through life. Just think about your best friends, or if you've had best friends in your life, if you've got best friends that have been in your life for 10, 15, 20 years, think about what that looks like. So think about how all the more that would be with your spouse.
I'm goofy, so my husband gonna have to be goofy too. So I do some weird stuff. He just gonna have to love it. So
Yeah.
I do some weird things.
Like we're gonna sit on this couch and we're gonna discuss this conspiracy theory from top to bottom. Yeah. And you're gonna enjoy it.
I'm gonna go by husband.
He needs to know how to kill bugs.
Oh yeah. That's the number one requirement on my list. Like I need to be brave. I need to kill bugs, moths, like anything that flies, because I'm not going to do it. I need you to be able to go outside when I can't, take the trash out because I can't do it. Clean
the grocery cart?
Huh?
Be able to push a grocery cart?
Yeah, I mean, it's the little things in life that are hard, and I need them to understand that some things in life I need help with. And, he can talk about me the whole grocery store run. But as long as he pushes that cart, that's all that matters to me.
That's true love.
Yeah.
That goes back to true love. Yeah. True love.
Exactly, Ashley. You got it. The little things that come with me that everybody's like, what? I just need you to just roll with it.
It's like those little things add up to that big thing, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I get you. I get you.
The little things that you just normally do by yourself because nobody else does it. That's what I would want that person to do with me. I mean, because you got to live with me. So
right.
You got to be just as weird as I am.
Right.
And you don't have to share every activity, but the main things, or at least be appreciative of it. Like, even if you don't want to go to the museum with me, you get in the car and you go anyway. You might not be excited.
But see, the thing, if that's the person for you, they're going to make it fun. Like Demetria was saying, I need you to make me laugh at this painting.
Yeah.
Just make this trip fun.
You might not want to go, but you're very into it. And then when we get into it, you're like, oh, okay, we can deal with this and make the best of the situation.
Okay. This one's going to be fun. So what are 5 things that irritate you about the opposite sex?
Nothing. I love everything about the opposite sex. I'm just like,
Well, I was writing down my answers, and this one I'm really just kidding, but the first thing I wrote down is that boys are dumb. And I say that all the time. Boys are dumb. But okay, people are going to watch this. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
This is a joke.
I agree. Like, I just came up with like one thing though, because sometimes they don't get us, and I'm hard at like explaining myself and my feelings. So I would like it if they would just hop in my mind and kind of get what I'm saying and kind of relate, catch me in my relaying of what I'm saying. I would like that. They can change that, but God created them, and I'm not gonna be mad at the creators. But yeah.
I only thought of two of them. Mine was the toxic masculinity, like they just feel like everything is too girly or
right.
This gay, and I can't stand that. Like, just
That's true.
not that deep. And then the other one I just thought about, when she said boys are dumb. Men do have these. I have never met a man that actually will answer more than one part of something that you said. It irks me. And it's like, you have to be very specific with guys, because if you say something, they're going to do exactly what you said. And it's like, but why didn't you? Well, you told me.
You didn't say that.
Very literal.
That irks me.
Ask them 3 questions. They're going to answer just one question. Probably the last one you said, because that's the one that they heard. And then that's it.
That's true.
That is very true. Oof.
There's only 2 things, but yeah.
To piggyback off of toxic masculinity, that's one of my, like, as I was writing down my things, I realized that they all just fell under that umbrella. every complaint I had about a man fell under toxic masculinity, and it's the rejection of emotions and the rejection of like having softness and like allowing themselves to enjoy things outside of these strict structures of this is what a man's like, because men can be lots of things. I mean, I just generally a big thing for me with men that they do that drives me nuts is they mansplain and they don't listen to what you say, and then 30 minutes later they tell you exactly what you said, but they form it like it was their own idea. And not all men do that, but
all that I know.
They all
the majority of
All
them
of the
do.
above.
There's nothing more frustrating than that. Yeah, that's.
I think that what I'm going to say just falls into like men being dumb. And I don't think all men are dumb. It's just characteristic that a lot of them have. But a lot of them make decisions and they think about the consequences, but they still choose to make those decisions. And I don't understand why men make those decisions. And it's like they don't realize what they could lose until they're about to lose it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most irritating thing about men, because it's happened so, because they can be the smartest man and they know what they have, but until it's almost gone, that's when they're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but like Bree said, we had a whole conversation about it one day. I cannot stand when, and it's not their fault. It's the man's before them fault, and that man, but just not wanting to be open about emotions. Like we were talking about, like if I have a son, he's gonna cry if he needs to cry. Don't tell him, suck it up, act like a man. What does acting like a man mean?
Good child.
Yeah, that's gonna have to be a talk me and my husband sit down and have.
Yeah.
Like, I do not believe in double standards. And I guess it's because I grew up with my cousin. We were the same age. And so the whole time growing up, it was always a double standard. Like, you can stay out to 11, but you got to come home at 10.
Right.
Why? We're the same age. It was always this double standard out there. And I just don't want my son or daughter to have to experience that. Like, both of you all are equal. That's what we want. We want everybody to be
right.
equal.
Yep.
guys are bad about double standards. Like, guys won't text you back like right away, but God forbid, they text you and you're on a conference call or you're doing something, you don't text them right back. They're like, well, I texted you, you didn't call me back. Or if, I called you, you didn't answer the phone, but you called them 3 times, or, things like that. Or they like to go hang out with the boys, which is fine. I don't mind you hanging out with the boys, but it's like, hey, me and the girls going out for girls' night. Well, what time y'all coming back? How long y'all gonna be? You was gone. You was out to 2. What?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So I think there's lots of double standards with guys, like the things that they do all the time that, So.
But yeah, we do that too.
Yeah, women do it. Women do it too.
We do it too. I didn't go for it. We do it.
I guess so. Maybe.
All right. So my last question. We're gonna get off the whole relationship topic and do a personal topic. What's one thing that you would change about yourself if you could change anything about yourself?
Overthinking. I overthink everything. Like the smallest thing. You ask me the most simplest question, and if I'm nervous or something, I'm gonna overthink it. Like, I overthink a lot, or I assume too. So I think, but it falls under overthinking because I only assume stuff because I overthought it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's one thing I would change about me. Stop overthinking stuff. Just like makes life simple.
That's a good answer.
Mm-hmm. I would say procrastination.
Ooh, girl. Keep me in your prayers. I'm still working.
The spirit of procrastinating. Because I won't say that I always procrastinate, but I feel like sometimes if I do something, I know that I need to get something done, I get overwhelmed. And then I'll be like, oh, I don't want that feeling. That's not a good spirit. And then I'll wait and I keep waiting. And then I get to the point, oh, it's due tomorrow. And then I get overwhelmed and I'm anxious. So I'm just like, if I could have just done it then, so.
Well, my procrastination does come from being so anxious about whatever I have to do that I put it off. So mine's a little opposite of yours, where you get anxious because you haven't done it. I'm anxious because I need to do it. And I just was like, I don't want to do it right now because it's not going to be perfect. So
yeah,
but that is definitely something I'm working on. So I keep you in my prayers too.
Thank you.
Well, I can go. I think mine is, I'm not a fearful person, but I'm a play it safe person. So I kind of set these very safe boundaries, or, I kind of stay in my comfort zone. And so, one of the things that I've been actually trying to change is being able to leap more and, move out of my comfort zone and do things that I didn't think I'd be able to do, kind of thing. So, because I think I create my own boxes, my own glass ceilings, because I'm in that play it safe mode.
For me, it would be self-doubt. I'm very and like I was kind of talking about mom earlier because I was trying to figure it out, what this would be. And it's both self-doubt and then the frustration that I experience during the process of things. Like, I get very frustrated at the process of things. Like, I find myself being like, I shouldn't have to put in this level of work for this result. And then the time period that it takes for a result to happen, that waiting period before it's done, frustrates me. And then I just, I'm very doubtful about things that I can do, and I don't always give myself the benefit of the doubt. Like, I'm not like, oh yeah, you can do this, you can get through this. There's always at the back of my head this voice of like, you're not going to be able to do this. This isn't going to work out the way you want it to. This isn't going to do right. And as I've gotten older, I've learned to power through that voice. But if I could just not have that voice at all, that'd be great. Like, just, yeah, because it's always there. And sometimes it's louder and sometimes it's quieter, but it's the absence of the self-doubt voice would be a lovely thing to have.
I've definitely seen that from you. You'll just be like, say something and be like, what? That's not true.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always there. And it's like, what is happening? And it's because of it's also because of the frustration that I experienced during the process of things. And it's like, why am I so frustrated by the process when I know that process has to happen, in order to get the end results? Like, you don't get anywhere overnight.
That's true.
Unless you take a red eye. And even then, that's a process.
It takes 5 hours.
It takes 5 hours.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay. I think that the one thing, like everything that everybody said, I can see how it would be beneficial to me. But I think the one thing that holds me back from stuff is probably not, well, I can't say, I'm just naturally shy. And so sometimes it's a constant battle to fight that shyness that naturally comes to me. Like, I'm naturally just going to be quiet. And so to make myself talk, I have to constantly talk to myself in my head and say, hey, talk. So if I could just not have to worry about constantly making myself do something that I just don't want to do because of just how I am, I feel like that would help me out a lot and wouldn't make things so hard.
I feel like I got a little piece of all of y'all. Like, from what you'll change, I got a little piece of everything, like the doubt and the shyness too. And I'm just like, oh gosh. But we will progress through it all.
Yeah. It's work. You just gotta work. If it was easy, it would not be worth it. So
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the questions I have. Did y'all want to add anything in the fellowship time?
Good talk.
very good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We need to do this one again with more questions.
Yes.
We need a male perspective too.
I was just about to say
Yeah, that would be great. That would be
That
great.
would have been like,
That's what we need.
Yes.
Have to defend everything.
At least
If they think differently, we need their perspective. They're waffles, we're spaghetti. So
completely different.
yeah, I saw someone use that analogy to teach kids the differences between how boys think and girls think. Waffles and spaghetti. The boys are waffles. They have all these little squares, and they can only do one square at a time. So you're mad because he hasn't called you, he hadn't thought about you or whatever, but he's on this square over here. He's on the football square. He's on the work square. He's on that square.
Oh, PS5.
The PS5.
But it's not that he's really doing anything wrong or not thinking about you. He's just not in that square. Women are spaghetti. All the noodles mixed together. We're thinking about everything all the time, all the whatever. So you know.
I like that. I'm going to have to jot that down.
I know, right?
Spaghetti and waffles.
We need some waffles in the conversation.
That is so true. So if you're a waffle that wants to be on the show, just let us know.
All right, so that's all we have for you guys today. We will do this again. I think that we should try to do it every single month just to get inside the minds of people and see the conversations that we can have. And like Ashley said, if you want to join our roundtable talks, just let us know. You can message us on our Facebook page at Obedience Pod or any of our social medias. Besides Facebook is Obedience Podcast. And then our email is obediencepodcast@gmail.com. Do you want to add anything, Ashley?
No, I think you did a great job. Just hit us up. We're always open to having new guests on the show. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming. I enjoyed myself. Got me some notes down, too, from all of you guys.
All right, like Ashley said, I want to thank you guys for joining us. Y'all were very quick to respond, which is fun. And y'all don't even know what the questions were, so thank you.
Thank you.
And then we're going to have you guys back. Next time we're going to have a guy, so be prepared for the next Zoom meeting.
Yay.
And then if anyone does want to come on the show, you can come up with your own questions. We are open to talk about anything.
Okay.
Let us know. All right. As always, be obedient.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.